What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to the show. So in this episode, we're actually over in Columbia. So in one of my past videos, I talked about all the new construction coming to the Lexington area, and people, of course, ask, what about Columbia? And so we're going to be diving into all those neighborhoods, including Blythewood and so much more, as well as I'm going to be talking about the inventory on this side of town. How does it compare to the Lexington side of town? And lastly, I'm walking through a highly sought after neighborhood, and there is a brand new phase that I didn't even know was coming, but I got word of it, and I'm going to take you over there. We're going to check it out later on so you can see what new homes are coming to this neighborhood. So let's dive into it. And we're going to be diving into that and so much more later on. But let's get kicked off with those brand new construction neighborhoods here in Columbia, South Carolina. And we get started right here at the Pecan Orchard neighborhood being built by Pulte Homes, found in the Woodcreek Farms Master Plan subdivision. Let's go take a look. All right, so as we dive into this, as prior mentioned, I do not work for the builders or developers. I'm an independent agent right here in the Midlands of South Carolina, Lexington, Columbia, and Lake Murray. So all information is subject to change. And as we get kicked off, we get started with Pecan Orchard by Pulte Homes. This neighborhood does have options to build. Honestly, thus far in this neighborhood, specifically with Pulte, I've only seen one spec home, as most of these are coming in as build jobs. And the neighborhood is showing that they started out with 40 lots. It's undetermined. I've been told they are trying to expand the neighborhood further, but undetermined at this point. And you'll kind of see off in the distance where they're trying to expand. Either way, you can see they do have lots that are on the water and on the golf course. So they show in this neighborhood, they offer 5 floor plans. They have ranch plans and 2-story plans, from 2 bedrooms to 7 bedrooms, 2.5 baths to 5 baths, 5.5 baths actually, 2,179 square feet up to 3,320 square feet and up because of those customization options. As you can see, this is a gated neighborhood. As well, they do have incentives if you plan to join Woodcreek Country Club. As far as pricing, it says that the base price comes in at $416,990. Again, with the customization, obviously this number is going to go up. To give you an idea, I've seen closings in this neighborhoods range from about $460,000 up to $870,000 to give you an idea. And as we dive into these neighborhoods later on, I will talk about some coming soon neighborhoods. Neighborhoods that may not even be posted on the builders' websites, but I've gotten word, seen the signs, and they'll be coming right here to the Columbia area because many of you have asked about future neighborhoods that are right here in Columbia, Blythewood, and so much more. And we'll be talking about those as well as where we're seeing price cuts. As I know I talked about this in the last video, but we have seen them get started, and I'll talk about where. There are plenty of phenomenal new construction neighborhoods right here in the Lexington, Columbia, and Lake Murray area that I hope you consider. As always, I call this the highlight series because we wouldn't have enough time to cover every single neighborhood. But don't hesitate to reach out because I can share with you some of these other neighborhoods that we might not have hit. Neighborhoods like the one I walk through right now, Ashley Oaks, phenomenal new construction neighborhood by Stanley Martin Homes, but a strong possibility this neighborhood will be sold out by the time you all see this. So again, don't hesitate to reach out so we can share with you all the new construction neighborhoods right here in the Midlands of South Carolina. Next, we dive into Victorywoods Village. This neighborhood has 2 builders announced thus far, Stanley Martin and Veranda Homes. And pause right there. Veranda Homes, you might not have heard me say that name in the past. And there's a reason for that. And as we head over to one of the other neighborhoods in just a little bit, I'm gonna dive into exactly who Veranda Homes is because this is an interesting thing that we've seen happen quite a bit right here in the Midlands of South Carolina. But I'll get to that in a little bit. Let's continue on though with Victorywoods Village. Stanley Martin does their Smart Select homes where everything is predetermined ahead of time and you're not gonna be able to make changes. Either way, they state they have homes ranging from 2 beds, 2 baths, 1,177 square feet, ranch plans, up to 4 beds, 3 full baths, up to 2,152 square feet. Pricing is shown between $234,900 up to $270,000. Now, Veranda Homes. Not much information out there as far as this right now, but they say they have homes from 1,777 square feet up to 2,411 square feet. Pricing showing from $265,900 up to $295,900. As a new builder, don't know if there are going to be options in there, but it doesn't look like that at this point to make changes. And I did highlight this neighborhood earlier in the year in my top budget-friendly new construction neighborhoods. But since then, you may have noticed it's expanded. And there's a lot of land still to build. The parcel that this sits on is approximately 159 acres. Now, in the distance, you might have seen further not attached to this. And that's actually owned by a different name. It's registered to Spears Creek Towns LLC. Interesting enough, the address of that LLC correlates back to the Mungo Homes address. So does this become Mungo Townhomes in the future? Yet to be determined. We're already starting early with the coming soons and we haven't even gotten there yet. Either way, let's continue on. Grand Oaks by D.R. Horton Homes. This neighborhood has homes ranging from 3 beds to 5 beds, 2 baths to 3 baths, 1-car garage to 2-car garage, from single-story ranch plans to 2-story homes. Homes ranging from 1,257 square feet up to 2,368 square feet. They state they have over 240 available homes. Pricing starting in the 200. Says Grand Oak offers a beautiful pool amenity with a cabana as well. They currently have homes for sale, and these range from $255,000 up to $310,000. And sometimes off in the distance, I just notice, hey, wait a minute, there's some land being cleared that direction. What's going on there? And so I started investigating this one a little bit more. Pretty interesting. So this was originally called Crane Landing LLC in the tax records, and it was sold to NVR Inc. in 2022. I'll give you an idea, NVR is the parent company of Ryan Homes. So it was originally zoned as RU, which is rural, very low density, single family detached residential home construction. And they originally proposed back in 2021 to change it to general commercial and was approved for 5.37 acres of it. And in 2023 tried to, looks like proposed to get the rest of it changed from rural to neighborhood commercial, where you'd have a little bit of mixed development in there. And looking at it further, they got denied at that time. Now, granted, as you can see, they've cleared pretty much most of the land. So I don't go to all the county council meetings, so I can't say what's happened since end of last year when it was denied, but it sure looks like they're clearing land down that direction. So we'll be keeping an eye on this in the future as well. Hey, Brandon, that real estate lawsuit happened. So the last thing I'm going to be doing is calling you to help represent me during a new construction transaction. It's going to save me a bunch of time and money to go straight to that listing agent. I get it. There's a lot of fake news and lies out there, and I'm glad that you brought this up. No one has said that the sellers cannot continue to pay to this date. Many of the builders have actually posted that they are going to continue to pay real estate agents just like myself if we can bring a buyer to them. So again, don't get confused with all the talk and information out there and think you're going to save money and time by going straight to that listing agent who truly represents that builder. Don't you want somebody that represents your best interests? Again, if this is all confusing to you, don't hesitate to reach out as we can talk through this. All right, don't forget, we still got to dive into that highly sought after neighborhood that has a brand new phase releasing from a brand new builder to our area. As well, I'm still going to talk about what the inventory looks like as far as new construction right here in Columbia. But before we do that, I want to dive into some established highly sought after neighborhoods that are actually having brand new phases that are either on the way or have already started. And we get kicked off right here at the Lakeside neighborhood in Woodcreek Farms, being built by Stanley Martin Homes. Let's go check it out. So Lakeside at Woodcreek is being built by Stanley Martin Homes. Again, these are their Smart Select homes where you aren't going to be able to change the options at this point. Homes in here range from 3 bedrooms to 5 bedrooms, 2.5 baths to 4.5 baths. Homes ranging from 2,539 square feet up to 6,937 square foot homes with finished basements. Current pricing ranges from $499,900 up to $718,406. As you can see, this is probably going to be the final phase in this neighborhood. And it's long been said that this section, including the handful of neighborhoods around it, would eventually have a community pool and clubhouse. The rumor has been the land that you may see being cleared off in the distance by those homes on the lake is where that is going to be, making a convenient location to the homes in this neighborhood. Again, that has not been officially announced, but that's the rumor I've been told, and they're clearing the land, so there's a good chance that's where it's going to be. And don't forget, we still have the coming soon neighborhoods coming up in just a little bit. Again, those neighborhoods that haven't been officially announced yet, but many of you asking about what's coming in the future. Grand Arbor by Pulte Homes. Made an entire video about this neighborhood when it first released. It is being built by Pulte Homes, includes both their Pulte division as well as their Syntex division. I've talked about in different videos how most of the builders have different styles of homes they build. Pulte actually divides it by the name. Pulte is going to be the larger customized homes, and Syntex is going to be the smaller homes that are pre-designed. As I talked about before, in the Pulte section, you can do those customizations, where in the Syntex, it doesn't seem like you can. As far as Syntex, what they offer in this neighborhood, 5 floor plans ranging from 3-bed, 2-bath ranch houses, 1,510 square foot, up to 2-story, 5-bed, 3-bath, 2,518 square foot houses. Going over to the Pulte side, they have homes ranging from single-story ranch plans, 2 beds, 2.5 bath, up to larger homes, 6 beds, 5-bath homes, square footage ranging from 1987 square feet up to 2,842 square feet, which again, options to make that larger. As you recall, you can make those adjustments. Pulte does allow you to choose those options. Remember that. One of the big benefits of this neighborhood was the amenity. High-speed internet included with the HOA. Walking trail around the 12-acre lake. Extensive planned amenities included pool, pavilion, community field, basketball courts, a youth soccer field, and pickleball courts. Many of you asked me about pickleball courts in the neighborhoods, and this is one of the first ones that I recall seeing. Rumor is Saluda River Club will be adding one. Outside of that, I have not heard of any other neighborhoods with pickleball courts. You can find pickleball courts now in the Midlands of South Carolina outside of neighborhoods, but again, not seeing them that much in neighborhoods. Syntex section has 17 homes for sale ranging from $274,465 up to $350,840. The Pulte section does have 2 homes currently listed from $399,825 up to $433,445. And with that said, remember, we're going to talk about inventory a little bit later, but we have seen some price decreases in this area and neighborhoods as those homes near completion or are completed. So I know I mentioned in the last video that incentives and price cuts have been light, but we are seeing some in the neighborhoods here in the Columbia area already. Now, some of this is builder dependent, to be 100% honest. I see some make more aggressive price drops like Lennar, and as we are already starting to see here with Pulte, as those homes get closer to completion, where others seem to stand firm a little bit longer. So just like I mentioned in the last video, as we see more homes near completion, I'm seeing more completed homes this year, more so than last year, I expect to see more price drops and incentives from these builders. So keep an eye out for those and I'll keep you posted. The Northwood Villas neighborhood being built by Lennar Homes and Woodcreek Farms. So I've prior highlighted this neighborhood in one of my Woodcreek Farms driving videos. Again, this is a Lennar Villa section where front yard maintenance included, annual pressure washing, and it's a gated community. Smaller homes ranging from 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,620 square feet up to 4-bed, 3-bath, 2,762 square feet. This is one of those neighborhoods I mentioned in one of the last episodes where it's geared toward downsizing and active adult living. But again, this one is not exclusive 55 plus. At this point, as you can see, they're clearing land for the next phase. So nothing is active quite yet, but I expect this in the near future. The Gates of Windermere by Mungo Homes. As you can see, it looks like this is one of the final expansions of the Gates of Windermere coming to this Mungo Homes neighborhood. Their site doesn't have any information available, but it does say coming soon. So obviously we're assuming this is going to be a continuation of Mungo Homes section. And stick around because when I talk about coming soon neighborhoods, we're going to be circling back over here to Long Creek Plantation as there's a brand new development about to take place not too far from where we sit right now. Keep in mind, Mungo typically does have options to build on a limited basis when this neighborhood does release. And of course, just as I said that, I realized there's still a ton of land here paralleling the Gates of Windermere. So not yet determined if this is the final phase of Gates of Windermere, but I'll keep you posted as I learn more. All right, so as we wrap up neighborhoods with new phases, I'm gonna dive into Veranda Homes as I promised. So out here at the Falls neighborhood over in Blythewood, across the street from Lake Carolina, Veranda Homes has added a townhome section as you can see behind me. Sign says coming from the mid 200s. Either way, what is Veranda Homes? And like I said, this is not the first time that we've seen this in our area. So if you've watched my videos long enough, you know that a lot of the local builders were acquired by larger groups, right? Back in the day, Stanley Martin acquired Essex Homes. You had Eastwood that acquired Fortress Homes. Mungo ended up partnering with Berkshire Hathaway. Now, what happened to some of these is as soon as the ones that are acquired, is as soon as their non-compete came up, they said, hey, I'm gonna get right back into the building world. And like I said, this isn't the first time we've seen it, but that's what Veranda Homes, from what I've been told, is one of those non-competes that is now up and they're back building homes. All right, so as we're about to roll into coming soon neighborhoods, and I'm going to talk about inventory, and there's an interesting article that I'm going to share with you all that puts Columbia right here in the top 50 metro areas when it comes to new construction. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but as we talk about coming soon neighborhoods, I wanted to roll back, and I know this is focused on Columbia, but as I was doing research with Veranda Homes, 2 neighborhoods popped up on their website that I did not cover in the Lexington video. Promise we're going to hop back into Columbia real quick. Just give me 2 seconds with this. Again, coming soon neighborhoods we're talking about, not a ton of information. Right over here off of Longs Pond Road off the interstate. For those familiar, Longview neighborhood is right here. A little close to the interstate is where it's showing it's going to be. The other one's going to be over here where it says Oak Grove. Jessamine Road right here. The Jessamine neighborhood by Munga Homes up here, going to be closer down here to the Oak Grove sign though. Just want to hit those as again, we're diving into coming soon neighborhoods right after inventory. So let's hop over. All right, so what's been your favorite neighborhood thus far that we checked out? Don't worry, got plenty more to dive into, but I want to talk about some inventory. But of course, as I've always said, I learn from what you all tell me. So please drop below what neighborhoods that you've been liking so I can show more of those as they get released. And you want to stick around because those little guys over there might have startled me on part of the video. But either way, I want to dive into inventory because in the last video, when I dove into Lexington, I shared the general information and people said, well, it's great to have the overall perspective, but what about the specific areas? What about Lexington? What about Columbia? So I pulled the statistics again, a little bit different than last time, not by too much, but I'm going to break it down for you so you actually understand of how much inventory is there in Lexington and in Columbia when it comes to new construction, because a lot of people are like, Brandon, that's a lot of new construction neighborhoods that you've been showing me and a lot of growth and development. Is it too much? Of course, some people are always going to say, yes, it's too much. They don't want the growth, but either way. So right now, total inventory, when I made this video, 2,843 total homes in our entire market. Resales, 2,077. So that's increased since the last time we talked about this. New was 766. So to give you an idea, how much less is actually new construction versus resale world, which is why I talked about why we're not seeing as many incentives in the new construction world, because the inventory growth has truly been in the resale world, as I talked about in the last video. Either way, how many are actually in these specific areas that we're talking about? So let's talk about Lexington first, and then I'll circle back over here to Richland County, which is where the Columbia area is. So Lexington, 260 new construction homes and 607 resale for reference. So only 260 new construction homes. Again, not that much. Richland, 275 new construction homes, 920 resales. So combined, right? You're only talking just over 500 new construction homes. I got more than 500 y'all in my database that have reached out to me. Just kidding. I know you're not all buying. Some of y'all picked other areas, but either way, just kind of put that into perspective, how little inventory there truly is relative to the market when it comes to new construction. So you say, okay, where's all that other stuff? So Kershaw County, which I'm going to be doing a video about a bit more, that's heading out to Elgin, Lugoff, Camden area. I'm going to be doing a driving video through that area talking about some of that. They have 105 in our MLS. Now, the other ones, this is where it gets interesting, is best way to explain it for those that aren't familiar with how the real estate world works is we have an MLS, an area that we cover, that we have access to those homes in that area. Pretty much expands out to Camden, down to the far west side of the lake, Saluda, south as far as, call it like Pillion, Swansea out that way, up north, you're talking Prosperity that way, Blythewood, that direction. However, of course, there's agents that cross over lines and there's agents that work all over the place. So we've started to see some other counties put new construction in our area. Doesn't mean we cover them. So talking about inventory, I wanted to bring up this article right here because this took me by massive surprise. So 50 largest housing markets for single family new construction according to Zonda. Apparently Zonda tracks it. I'm not sure. Either way, you can see metro area housing market, new home closings in 2023. As you scroll down the list, look at here, number 40, Columbia, South Carolina. This is national home closings. So that shows you how much inventory we're moving in this new construction world. Especially look below it. Richmond, Virginia, Wilmington, North Carolina, Tucson, Arizona, Kansas City, Missouri, right? These massive areas around the country, and we top this list at number 40. So hope that puts into perspective when I talk about inventory and how much things are moving when it comes to new construction. But let's head over to those coming soon neighborhoods that I promised you I was going to share with you. All right, so before we head back over to that exclusive neighborhood with a brand new phase coming, let's talk about some coming soon neighborhoods. Some of these I've heard rumors about for over a year, and they're finally coming to fruition. You're gonna wanna hear about this. But either way, let's get started right here in Blythewood with Leatherstone by D.R. Horton. Signs is coming from the mid-200s down here. Gonna be their Express series. As I always said, the series will teach you what type of home that is. As you can see, they really just started clearing the land. Not too much information out here outside besides that. Either way, let's head over some other coming soon neighborhoods that if you are considering new construction in the Midlands of South Carolina, especially Columbia, you're gonna wanna hear about these. So let's go take a look. The Lakeside at Long Creek neighborhood being built by Fox Creek Homes. So there's not a ton of information about this quite yet, but Fox Creek Homes does have on their site that Lakeside at Long Creek will be coming soon. If you can tell from the video, this is right at the start of Long Creek Plantation in Blythewood. It's right across from a prior established gated neighborhood. This location is convenient, obviously back to the Killian Shopping Center with Kroger Marketplace and so much more, as well as the new Northeast Lexington Medical Center facility that is just up the road from here. So we'll be keeping an eye on this neighborhood, and I will announce more as I learn more. All right, so let's dive into that rumor mill neighborhood that I've been hearing about for over a year, and it's finally come to fruition. I'm gonna let you know where I am in just a minute. But why was this so important for me to pull out and talk about this neighborhood, and why was this rumor so big? Because many of you called me and asked and said, hey Brandon, where did those larger estate types home that Mungo used to build go, right? Sterling Bridge used to sell them, but they switched floor plans. They still sell them over in Palmetto Shores, but they don't seem to have them anymore. Well, the rumor was told that this neighborhood right here was supposed to have those. Not confirmed yet, but this is the land that I was told that this was going to be on. But now it's been officially made that this is going to be a Mungo neighborhood. Let me give you a little information about this neighborhood, then I'll tell you exactly where we're at. So it's a total of 262 acres that they own here. And again, I talked about this in my last video, how big of a neighborhood that truly is, right? Your Saluda River Clubs are around 250 acres. Now, with that said, one of the big things they've announced is they're gonna retain 100 acres of green space in there. So not just gonna clear all the trees and throw a bunch of homes in there. Tons of green space, which I know many of you have asked for. As well, they're gonna have a pool and cabana in this, but it's a total of 411 single family homes. So obviously spread out between 262 acres gives you an idea of the space that you're gonna have in this neighborhood. Either way, to let you know where this neighborhood is at, we currently sit at the intersection of Swigert and Mant Valley in Blythewood. Again, as you can see, haven't even started clearing the trees yet, so this is still a ways away, but I know many of you aren't moving this weekend. You got some time. And so we'll keep an eye on this, and I'll update it as I learn more information about this neighborhood right here in Blythewood. The Haynes Park neighborhood going to be built by Mungo Homes and Haven Homes. So at this point, this is a coming soon neighborhood, but Mungo does announce that they're gonna have homes ranging from 1,250 square feet to over 2,600 square feet, from 3 beds, 2 bath, ranch plans, up to 6 bed, 3.5 bath, 2,645 square feet. As well, it looks like they may be offering a section of townhomes too. And interesting enough, heading over to what Haven has to offer. 1,300 square foot homes to 1,900 square feet. Pricing, they say, will start from the low 200s. Now, their site does show the site map plan, which does show the townhomes as well as the single family, which looks like both options will kick off in phase 1 with more options continue to grow. So it does look like both will have townhomes. Also, very interesting, across the street, I caught a picture of this sign. Does look like the developer owns this land. If you can't read the sign, it's a proposal from changing the zoning from residential single family to residential multifamily. I researched the case number, and it looks like the zoning change was approved to R5, which is their zoning law that shows residential multifamily medium density. So we'll be keeping an eye on whether this is an expansion to Haynes Park and the request was for further townhomes or exactly what it is. But as of now, obviously, what you see over on this side is the phase that they're gonna be kicked off at. All right, so let's dive into this brand new neighborhood and section right here in the highly sought after neighborhood of Lake Carolina. That's right, you guessed it, and the geese are sitting behind me, so hopefully they don't come attack me. That'll make for some entertainment, right? Either way, give an idea, I'm over here in the harbor side part of Lake Carolina. For those that aren't familiar, Lake Carolina, you do have the man-made lake that I'll show you in just a minute, sits right on the other side of these trees, and they have a downtown. They actually have kind of 2 of them. The small one sits just up the street from this, and the big one is just past it as well. So easily within walking distance to their downtown. As well, one of the community pools is over here. So convenient location, as I said. They're gonna get crazy on me, geez. As I said, convenient location right here in Lake Carolina. That's why I wanted to hit on this neighborhood. But as you can see right behind me is the lake. So either way, I had thought this entire section was sold out. There were a couple lots up there that did sell and people built on. But I came out to show some clients the other day and I drove by and I saw them clearing this section. I was like, hold up. And so I started looking into a little bit more and I found who is building in this neighborhood. And it's Fox Creek Homes. Might not have heard that name prior outside of earlier in the video today when I talked about it, because Fox Creek Homes is new to the Midlands of South Carolina. Not a new builder by any sense of the mean. I actually looked it up and they originated down in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, right? Charleston area. Built homes down there and decided to expand. And actually on their site, what's crazy is they say that they are building in 8 different subdivisions thus far, and they have 300 planned lots already, including Lake Carolina and Long Creek Plantation that I talked about earlier. As well, very interesting that some of you will really like is on their site, they show that they do build on your lots, where if you own a piece of land, they can come build on them. And looking at these homes, to be 100% honest, they don't look like your traditional builds. A lot of upgrades and a lot of customization that goes into them. So I'm really excited to see what comes about right here in this neighborhood. Again, as you can see, they have a handful of lots cleared already right here to be built. And as I said, right behind this tree line, if you can't see it, is Lake Carolina. And so strong potential for lakefront lots. Now, I caution when I say that, because to give you an idea, this down here, they had community docks over here and these houses had access to them on this side. So I'm not promising that there's gonna be actual docks allowed for each lot, but again, as you can see on the back side of this lot, that's the lake right there. So at least potential lake view lots, possibly lake access lots coming right here to Lake Carolina. Again, I will keep you in touch as I learn more about this growth and this development, and the geese are headed my way. So I gotta find a new path back to my truck. Otherwise, thanks for watching.